WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. From the governor's office to local governments, even churches, Mississippi is reacting to the threat of the coronavirus. State health officials are moving forward with plans to treat the outbreak, and they're urging caution not to panic. Linnea Lewis from CBS affiliate WJTV has the latest.
The Mississippi State Department of Health says that they're monitoring the spread of the coronavirus, but they're asking people not to panic, but instead take preventative measures.
If you're sick and worried, call your clinic, call your provider, call your doctor, and let them take care of you.
That's exactly what the first coronavirus victim did in Mississippi. An adult male who just came back from Florida started feeling symptoms of COVID-19. He called his physician and self-quarantined at home.
So in general, travelers are not going to be at especially high risk unless you've been to an area of a lot of transmission. So people are traveling, across the state lines and stuff. Just because you traveled doesn't mean you need to quarantine yourself.
So far, the state has tested more than 42 people for the virus. Although this number is pretty small, they're asking organizations and companies to avoid large gatherings where there's more than 250 people, especially for those 65 and older.
Consider restricting visitation of this manner until further notice. Keep signs that discourage all non-essential visitation, and definitely prohibit anyone who's ill from entering the facility.
To help stop the virus from spreading through Mississippi, Dr. Dobbs is reminding people to wash their hands, cover their mouth when they sneeze or cough, and look out for symptoms like fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath. If you feel like you have any of these symptoms, state leaders are urging you to call your physician instead of arriving at the emergency room. In Jackson, Linnea Lewis, 12 News.
The city of Tupelo cautions against the coronavirus. At this time, there are no cases of coronavirus reported in Tupelo. However, after meeting with department heads and a conference call with the White House, Mayor Jason Shelton issued 2 executive orders. One will require all hotels to suspend breakfast buffets. The other will cancel all city-sponsored youth league sporting events until April. The mayor will also ask Tupelo Public Schools to push back the start of classes from spring break from Monday to Wednesday of next week.
But because we're preparing for the worst case scenario does not mean that the worst case scenario will occur. The odds are overwhelming that the worst case scenario will not occur. That does not eliminate or reduce our requirement as a city to be prepared for that situation. So that's what we're trying to do to make sure that we're taking every step that we can to be prepared.
The school board will hold a special call meeting tomorrow morning. Well, Mississippi's 8 public universities are extending spring break an extra week. This will allow faculty to prepare to offer classes remotely. Classes will resume March 23rd and will be taught online. Mississippi University for Women is one of the schools affected by the IHL's decision. President Nora Miller says this was a tough decision for the school to make, but it was the right one as they look to protect students during an uncertain time. Empty buildings and no students. This is normal for Mississippi University for Women this week. That's because it's spring break. But President Nora Miller says things may stay that way for the foreseeable future.
We are encouraging them to go to their permanent home if they have that option, just in the best interest for the social distancing and everything. We feel it's best not to have that contained environment, if at all possible.
But for students who don't have that option, Miller says they will still allow them to stay on campus. For those who are moving off campus, dorms will remain open so they can pack up.
If they want to remain in the residence hall, we're asking that a form be completed by the 18th, and then we'll have times for them to come and get their belongings. I know a lot of them probably didn't take their textbooks on spring break.
The university is working out details for keeping those who stay on campus fed. The library and computer labs will be available for students who need internet access. President Miller says university buildings will also be open for students needing to conduct business. As of today, MUW has postponed all athletic events. Now, the other big question mark is graduation.
Right now, the Department of Health said to discourage gatherings of 250 people or more. So that would definitely be commencement. If those recommendations are still in place, we'll have to make decisions accordingly.
While school leaders are encouraging students to remain off campus, the same may also apply for faculty and staff.
We are asking people to spend this next week thinking about if that should happen, what could you do remotely? Are there resources? Do you need certain computer level access? Do you need encryption, whatever, to make that happen?
MUW's homecoming has also been canceled. To stay updated on everything that's happening, be sure to visit the school's website at muw.edu. Your view of the pulpit on Sunday mornings could be changing, or at least some of the things about the service, thanks to the coronavirus. Our Allie Martin tells us how some are changing procedures, but not their mission.
Every Sunday, hundreds of people fill the pews at West Jackson Street Baptist Church. And before his sermon this past Sunday, Dr. Keith Cochran talked about a topic on the minds of many, the coronavirus.
You have every right today to bump elbows with people. You don't have to shake anybody's hand, so we'll try to stay clear of all of that stuff.
Like many pastors, Cochran encourages worshipers and staff to watch the latest developments with the pandemic, but not to panic.
God has not given us a spirit of fear, so we don't want to be afraid and fearful during this time, but we are going to be smart.
Sure.
And we want to make sure we don't spread the disease either.
The church has had hand sanitizer throughout its campus, but more bottles are being added.
Wash your hands, sanitize your hands more often than you normally would.
Along with practicing good hygiene, Dr. Cochran encourages anyone who is sick, especially with a respiratory ailment, to stay home from church. After all, many churches like West Jackson live stream their services every Sunday.
So you can join with the worship service from your home.
The pastor believes this is a time for people of faith to make a difference and provide hope to those who are confused, anxious, and afraid.
Those of us that follow Christ, we want to be strong, we want to be healthy, not just physically, we want to be healthy in our emotional reaction as well as our conversation with other people, and be that this is our time to stand up and be the church.
So far, no services or trips have been canceled at West Jackson Street Baptist Church or any other churches throughout the area. Dr. Cochran encourages people to get their information from reliable sources such as the CDC.
Some vivid lightning spotted in the region. Northeast Mississippi Community College. Look at that strike right there. A lot of that going on across parts of North Mississippi this evening. A live view in Tupelo right now. All quiet, the rain pulling away to your south at this point, but we still have some rain, some showers, and occasionally a little bit of lightning there showing up near Aberdeen, approaching Caledonia and West Point. This is stretching back to the west into the Delta. You can see some of this activity back over here. So a chance for some additional showers and storms this evening and tonight. You can see this activity as it will continue moving from north to south here. It looks like our odds of severe weather have diminished, and that was just a small chance to begin with. So some showers, some storms, and temperatures cooling down into the 50s in the north later tonight and 60s in the south. I'm back with your full 7-day forecast coming up.
Aberdeen residents get another chance to hear from people who want to lead their city. The historic Elkin Theater played host to a mayoral debate. Candidates running for office laid out their platforms. Candidates mostly agreed that changes are needed for residents in low-income areas to prosper. The primary election is set for April 7th, and the general election will take place on May 5th. Every day, law enforcement officers face dangers on the job. Some are obvious and others not so much. They have to know what they're doing when handling drugs. Our Stephanie Poole talks to the Lowndes County Narcotics Task Force, and she has this story.
When you buy a drug or get a drug, you never know what you're getting.
Captain Brian Turner is the commander of the Lowndes County Narcotics Task Force. He says deputies must go through intense training before responding to a call.
We get training on our SCBAs, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus. Some narcotics, for instance, methamphetamine manufacturing, you have to use these type of items to, to clean up the labs.
The Narcotics Task Force responds to 20 to 30 calls a month. That's why deputies always keep protective gear ready for a crime scene.
They definitely need to glow up because a lot of these drugs are hazardous to touch. You don't have to inhale them. You don't have to smoke them. Just the touch of these drugs could hurt you.
Lowndes County Sheriff Eddie Hawkins says fentanyl is one of the most dangerous narcotics on the street. Just coming into contact with it can trigger an overdose or cause death.
Preparing them to go out here, training them to identify these sources and identify the drugs that we're dealing with and know how to handle these drugs. Using personal protective equipment, gloves, masks, things like that, so that they don't come in contact with these drugs. So every day we're dealing with all kinds of new drugs, from synthetic drugs to drugs that we see from pharmaceutical companies.
And if an overdose does occur, deputies have backup.
Narcan helps prevent the overdoses. When somebody does overdose, we can administer this to help them come out of that overdose. It may take more than one dosage unit, but we can get medical assistance there to assist them.
This particular drug reverses the effects of the opioids that we find out here on the street. Officer safety is the most important factor in dealing with narcotics. We want to make sure that our guys come home safely every night to their family.
That was our Stephanie Poole reporting there. Deputies want to remind people that if you find an unidentified substance, don't handle it. Instead, contact them first. And now turning our attention over to weather. Keith, this was the hottest day of the year so far.
80 degrees, right up your alley, right?
I love it. I love it.
One of the best evenings of the year, too. Hopefully you could take advantage before the showers and storms. And the big pattern over the next week or so, mild temperatures gradually winning out here as we get ready to start official periods of spring in less than a couple of weeks here, just a little over a week. Your full forecast is next. Stay with us.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
All right, today the warmest day of 2020, 80 degrees in Columbus and Tupelo. Hopefully you took advantage. It had a different kind of feel, different kind of look to it. You can see how the clouds were moving here with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network, Louisville, Mississippi, at Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon, Tupelo, and Columbus. There you have it. That was a very warm afternoon. You know, we had those southerly breezes, and now we've had some showers and thunder showers blossom. We have a little bit of a remnant outflow here from West Point to Aberdeen to east of Smithville, moving towards Sulligent right now. And we also have some additional rain and storms embedded back towards Clarksdale in the Delta, all the way back into parts of southeastern Arkansas. So still some additional showers and storms around the region. A lot of this is tending to pulse down below severe limits now that we've said goodbye to the sun as we get into the evening hours. So still a chance for more rain and storms around here, but the overall severe weather threat is low, will remain low, and we may not even see anything around here, and that's probably a pretty safe bet. So right now, let's just assume nothing until proven otherwise. Temperatures will be looking at getting down into the lower 60s. Some of you could actually dip into the mid to upper 50s for Tupelo and Bruce. Farther south, though, Columbus 62, 61 in Starkville. So that is tonight. Here's our first alert forecast, and you can see, who do we got here? Lily, I love Lily, getting ready for some showers and some cooler weather tomorrow. I think mainly 60s for highs here on our Friday. Some of you could be a little bit warmer or cooler depending on the situation here. Some computer model data suggests some of you could stay in the upper 50s, but the southern reaches may have a shot at the upper 60s. So a good ballpark, some 60s, cooler weather, more clouds, and the chance for some showers here. Now Saturday we will rebound back into the 70s and cool back down into the 60s on Sunday. And notice that trend right there going into the end of next week. Warmer and warmer temperatures and another shot at 80 degrees by next Friday. So here's the big picture. We have a front. We have these showers and storms out there now. The front will come on in and move through tonight. We'll be on the northern and cooler side of it tomorrow. See that rain right there. And then the front's going to move back to the north as we get into your Saturday, and that means back into the 70s. There will be more rain and storms around. Some of that will likely come back down with the front as we get into Saturday night and Sunday right here back into the 60s. For your Monday, a chance for storms. For all of next week, a chance of storms, but gradually warming temperatures. And at the end of next week, Quentin, there could actually be a bigger system that would give us a better chance for some strong storms locally. But that's still a long ways off. We'll just wait and see.
I'll tell you, Keith, I bought a fly jacket online 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It came in yesterday, but just my luck, now it's too hot outside to wear that jacket. Well, just my luck.
Can you wear it on Saturday or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
60s too warm?
Well, you know, it's a fly jacket, so I'm gonna make sure I wear it.
Okay.
Even if I'm sweating, I'm gonna still pull it. I gotta get my money's worth.
All
right, thank you so much, Keith. Monster Jam was supposed to take place at Bancorp South Arena on Friday and Saturday, but the event was canceled due to coronavirus concerns. Event organizers are now planning to reschedule the event. So far, it's coronavirus 1, college sports 0. We'll have the latest developments coming up in sports.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Quentin Smith.
Welcome back. Getting a handle on your health care is getting easier for patients at Baptist hospitals. We find out more about OneCare in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Nicole Founders, a registered nurse and part of the nursing informatics team here at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight, I want to tell you how you can sign up for MyChart. When we implemented Baptist OneCare, our new electronic health record, on December 1st, 2014, one of the most beneficial parts of the system is that it allows you to actively participate in your care or a loved one's care through MyChart, a free app available through your smartphone, laptop, or other electronic device. Think of having all the information you need to make, cancel, or reschedule a doctor's appointment and get phone numbers and driving directions, get appointment reminders from your doctor's office, access your after-visit summary. Parents can print their child's immunization records, view your current and past prescriptions and request refills, send a direct message to your doctor's office, view most test results without waiting on the doctor's office to call you. MyChart also offers proxy access, allowing you to view medical records of patients whose health you are responsible for, such as a minor child or an elderly parent. This is Baptist's way of making you more a part of our mission of providing patient and family-centered care. To learn more or to activate your MyChart account, go to mychart.baptistonecare.org. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle.
To play or not to play, we have the latest developments in sports regarding the coronavirus coming up.
Here's WCBI Sports with Chris Bolton.
Well, coronavirus has prompted an unprecedented shutdown of virtually all professional and college sports in this country. The virus already had fans shook before the leagues pulled the plug today. Dana Jacobson has more.
With the coronavirus, we don't know entirely what that means for the future.
An extraordinary day as the dominoes began falling early. First, the conference tournaments.
We believe that it's the right decision to make.
And late today, March Madness, college basketball's premier event, canceled, along with all other NCAA winter and spring championships.
So no Rudy Gobert, but
a second NBA player with the coronavirus diagnosed today, Donovan Mitchell, a teammate of Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert, whose positive test led to the suspension of the NBA season last night, just days after he'd made light of the NBA's social distancing policy. And in a day like no other, while games were being played, Major League Baseball announced it's canceling the rest of spring training and delaying the start of the regular season.
I'm going to go enjoy the game. This might be the last one for a while.
The National Hockey League has suspended its season, as has Major League Soccer. The PGA will play without fans. Most in the sports world agree this had to be done.
This is not a basketball issue. It's not an NBA issue. It's not a March Madness issue. This is a United States. This is a global issue.
This isn't limited to the NCAA postseason. The same goes for SEC. Currently, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey saying this afternoon that starting today, March 12th through the 30th, all SEC athletics have been postponed. Obviously, Mississippi State men's and women's basketball season ending effective immediately. Also, baseball, softball, tennis, track and field, you name it, have been put on the hold for the time being. Sankey saying they will reevaluate the situation at the end of the month. JUCO schools following the SEC by postponing athletics through March 30th. This decision is effective immediately and will also be reevaluated at the end of the month going forward. In terms of what's to come for high school athletics, no official update just yet. The Mississippi High School Athletics Association saying they are working to decide where the gathering for sporting events outweighs the benefits given the current situation. More information on high school athletics is still to come.
I tell you, Chris, this puts a different meaning into March Madness, huh?
March Sadness now, man.
Exactly.
No NBA, no college basketball. And YouTube it up.
Exactly, and I hate it for all athletes, but especially the seniors. You know, they never imagined their senior year would end like this.
Especially, you know, Tyson Carter with Mississippi State.
On the basketball side, exactly.
Yep.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. We'll have a last look at your forecast when we come back.
All right, yeah, we were just talking about maybe playing some ball. Since we can't watch it, we can play ball in the driveway, right?
And it's the perfect weather for it.
Well, yeah, we've warmed things up. We still have some rain out there this evening. This will be with us tonight into tomorrow. Areas of rain, 60s more likely Friday versus the 80 we had today. We're back into the 70s Saturday, down into the 60s Sunday, and then some 70s next week.
My type of weather. What about you, Chris?
It's fine with me. It's getting warmer.
We can put the jackets up. Have a good night, everyone.